Hey, what's up, North Wright County Today listeners? It's been a while since we've done a podcast. We've had a few scheduling conflicts, some studio stuff that's happening. As you can see, I'm not in the studio today. We're doing it live from the home studio here in Albertville, historic Albertville, not downtown Albertville, out in the suburbs here, out in the housing developments. So I won't say historic downtown Albertville, but thanks for tuning in today. We got a few things to get to, and one thing that's super important. So just wanted to get to that. Summer flying by. As we do this, we are looking at Hanover Harvest Festival. Hopefully, you guys can get down there Saturday. Enjoy all the thing in Settlers Parks. The parade and things like that. I won't give you all the details because this will probably be posted soon after. But yeah, looking forward to the Harvest Festival. And then, of course, after that, we have St. Michael Daze and Knights. So that's the big one coming up, and get you some details on that. So obviously, Friday, August 7th and Saturday, August 8th, got some awesome events. We'll start with the music. One of my favorites coming out, Chris Hockey. He's going to be with the Famous Armadillos Band. That's a cast of literally almost a dozen people. They'll take over the stage at 8:30 on Friday night. Before him, local stud Shane Martin Band. They'll be from 5:30 to 8:30. So good music, good stuff in Town Center, which is in downtown St. Michael on Friday night. Of course, Saturday, you've got tons of stuff going on. You've got the 5K kicking off at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is good because it's going to be another warm weekend next weekend. Car show, business expo, all the big things that make St. Michael Days St. Michael Days. Those are going to be happening throughout the day. Of course, the Sawdust Pile Treasure Hunt, which is brought to you by our friends over at Deerwood Bank. You've got beanbags, you've got pickleball, you've got Wright County Sheriff. KRWC is going to be on the grounds from 2 to 4. And of course, Saturday is the day of the parade, which kicks off right around noon. So coming down Town Center there between Cub Foods and St. Michael Albertville City Hall Library, that area, and then zipping up to Frankfort and then coming around. So you're going to want to check that out. Fun day. Looks like a beautiful weekend next weekend if the long-term forecast is correct. We will cross our fingers for that. Then on Saturday night, we close it down with Mason-Dixon Line, which is a local favorite. They've been playing some local festivals around here for years. Good band, and of course, fireworks at dusk. So check that out. Set the calendar, August 7th and 8th. It's kind of summer's last hurrah, brought to you by our friends at the St. Michael Lions Club, FYCC, other, City of St. Michael, other groups that get involved in that, local sponsors. Check them all out. And celebrate kind of summer swan song here in the St. Michael Albertville area as we reach. We're getting really close to some milestone anniversaries for the good old St. Michael Days and Nights. So check that out. Of course, concessions, food, beer garden, all that stuff will be there. And akin to Albertville Friendly City Days, it kicks off with the garage sales. So St. Michael Days and Nights, check them out online. They do have some PDFs and stuff like that with the maps and schedules and stuff for that weekend. Also, switching over to the news hat, early voting is open for the Minnesota primary. Obviously, it is a big political year, election year. Our current representatives, Representative Walter Hudson, Eric Lucero, Senator Eric Lucero, both up for re-election in District 30, which covers much of our North Wright County today area. They are both up for re-election as the entire Minnesota legislature and state government all flipped this year. Or, if incumbents win, probably not as much flip, but everybody in the state government is up for election this year. So from governor to state auditor to everything. Local races too. Those of you in St. Michael, you've got a primary for your Wright County Commission. 3 candidates, only 2 can make it to the general, so some interesting candidates there. Go online and educate yourself. We also have candidates for Wright County Sheriff, and some other important local races that are also in the primary. So one thing to note about the Minnesota primary is it is a party-based primary. So if you're going to vote Republican, you vote Republican down the ballot in the primary. You cannot cross over into that other Democratic column. If you're a Democrat, you're going to vote. If you want to vote Democrat, you've got to stay on that side of the line. It's an open primary, but it's a party-based primary in efforts to get candidates to the general election. So that is the Minnesota way. That is just one of the things to note as you go into the polls. The poll workers will instruct you on that as well. Early voting, if you're interested in early voting, Wright County Courthouse has the new Wright County Courthouse has space for you to go over there and vote over off Braddock. And yes, you can get there from here. The detour is still posted, and you can cross over 25 and go down the back way to get to the new county offices. Or if you want to vote closer to home, Albertville, City of Albertville residents only can vote in Albertville. City Hall is open, I believe, early at 7 o'clock for voters. So if you want to pop in there and pull a ballot, they will check your registration and check the books and everything, and make sure you're on the registration voter roll, and you can pull a ballot and vote early. Early voting, same in St. Michael City Hall, Otsego City Hall. We do have a story posted on the website where you can check all of the hours for that. It is a really good way to get your ballot out there, and if you're tied up on Tuesday, August 11th, which is the primary date, you can get your ballot counted that way. That in mind. August 11th is the primary. Local polls will be open. For example, Albertville folks will vote up at St. Michael Albertville Middle School West. That is a primary ballot or precinct location. You can check the Secretary of State websites for where you vote according to where you live. We'll also have links to that as we get closer to the primary itself. But yeah, a lot of Minnesotans take advantage of that early voting and cast their ballot and get that done. So that information is out there. I want to keep this one short, but I do want to thank our sponsors. So we're going to pump them real quick. First and foremost, the Selfie Company Studios. We are not there, like I said today, but Selfie Company is located in Albertville, in what we like to affectionately call the Cons Crossing, but it is right behind Jimmy John's there in Albertville, across the street from Coburn's. Talk to Sam, get over there. It's a great spot for a birthday party. You can beat the heat if you want to do your senior pictures inside. They've got some cool sets for that. They've got the light rings and the tripods and all the fun stuff. So check out Selfie Company on Facebook. They've got places there where you can book some time for your kiddo or your senior or yourself if you want to do family photos. So also want to thank Solutions Counseling, located in St. Michael, Craig and company, Caleb, all the providers over at Solutions Counseling or online at getcounseling.org. We want you to check them out because we believe mental health is just as important as your physical health. and thousands of you have gotten help with solutions. We hope that's something that's worked for you. We have loved them as a sponsor since day one. So check them out. Solutions Counseling in St. Michael off Thielen Drive and getcounseling.org. You can do your appointments online. So super cool. Speaking of physical health, we also love our friends over at Stellus Health. Stellus has been a sponsor of the podcast since day one and a long-time sponsor on North Wright County Today, the website, which, if you haven't noticed, is new and improved. Check them out, Stellus Health, stellushealth.com. If you go to the website, their website's super cool. You can meet your doctors. You can do online appointments. They've got blogs. They've got videos. You got something that's bothering you, and you've got questions about it, you can talk to a nurse. Lots of cool stuff on the website, Stellus Health, stellushealth.com. Locations in Monticello and Buffalo, right next to both of the hospitals there in those communities. stellushealth.com. And finally, we want to give a shout out to Peggy Shum. It is always tax season. We say that all the time. Nick and myself, my co-host Nick Schultz from Deerwood Bank. We love the fact that Peggy's local. Peggy and her team know Minnesota tax laws inside and out. So whether you're a business owner, you're just filing, married, filing an easy 1040. If you want some answers to some of your questions, Peggy Shum and Associates can help you out with that. So check them out online at cpapss.com, or visit them right there in Town Center when you're checking out St. Michael Daze and Knights. They are located in the Midwest One Bank building. That's Peggy Shum, CPA. And finally, just want to give a sponsor shout out to my friend Nick and Deerwood Bank, deerwoodbank.com. Like I said, sponsoring some of the events at St. Michael Daze and Knights, including that Sawdust Medallion Hunt. Not quite as complex as the Albertville Medallion Hunt, but still a fun time. And check them out. They've got money to lend. If you're looking for commercial lending, personal lending, now is a good time to look into those options for you, especially if you're looking to expand your business, build your business, get set for the 2027 fiscal year. Those things are happening now over at Deerwood Bank, so talk to Nick and his team and bank with some local experts who will help you out. So Deerwood Bank, deerwoodbank.com. Like I said, I just wanted to check in. It's been a while since we podcasted, but I wanted to also take this opportunity to really take a moment and remember somebody who we all loved and knew in this community. Not everybody, obviously, but many, many of us knew Sandy Greninger and knew her well and knew her as you hear the term mover and shaker, or somebody who moves mountains, things like that. That was Sandy, and she was just a tremendous part of the St. Michael Albertville community. What she did with FYCC was vitally important to how we developed as a city. Without a park district or anything like that to run activities for youth, Sandy really took what she saw as a unique opportunity and ran with it and made it her own. And you can go back and listen to our podcast with her when she retired, sadly, just a few months ago. We lost Sandy July 28th due to cancer. She had multiple bouts with cancer, and I think in the end, she was surrounded by family and friends, and knew how much this community appreciated her. And it was time to go be with Chuck, her husband, who she lost just a couple of years before. So I just wanted to tell you a couple of Sandy stories that I remember. I know, many of you out there have probably enjoyed Open Streets and the St. Michael and Albertville celebrations of those through the years. Um, that was kind of a dream just a decade and a half ago. And Sandy kind of took something that she had heard about and went and experienced with friends and colleagues in various communities and said, "This is something we can do in St. Michael." And FYCC really took the lead. The bike helmets were always kind of the biggest draw. It was just one of those things where in the initial meetings, I think the folks who were involved at the beginning and I were like, bike helmets. Well, okay, that's genius. But between Alina and Wright County and longtime sponsors like Health Source and all of those that have been involved in it since day one. Nick, of course, fixing bikes. I can remember the fire, kids hopping in and out of the fire trucks and the ambulances. It was something super simple that started and has become just this seasonal great event. And you can talk about so many events like that. The father-daughter dances that have been moved from gym to gym because they just keep getting bigger. And just FYCC's summer programming and the whole idea that reading is so important over the summer, and just jumping on that. Sandy and her team getting kids books and reading in the park and things like that. Just tremendous service to our community. And, Sandy was a force. Her personality was just that of like, let's make things happen, and she did. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the things that you got me involved in. FYCC was super important in the evolution of North Wright County today, more than 12, 13 years ago. She always found ways to get me involved, whether it was a biz to biz group or sponsorship opportunities or things to cover. I remember when the circus elephants came to St. Michael, and she made sure that I knew about it and that she was gonna not only ride but help give the elephants a bath, and that was a super fun event. So just wanted to take a moment to remember somebody who just gave so much to the community. So we'll link to that podcast, the conversation we had with her not too long ago. I'm sad to think that that's the last time I really had a long time to sit down and talk to my friend. It just shows you that time is very so important. So all right, well we'll share that with you again, and we thank you for joining us for this one. Have a tremendous end to your summer. We're going to be back in studio soon with school getting back and things getting back into more routine. We'll get some studio shows going. We're going to book some guests, targeting some folks from both St. Michael and Albertville and Otsego as we get to, like I said, this important election, to keep you guys informed on that. Also, look for, we're working with folks to maybe bring back an informational voter forum. I will keep you posted on that, but we want our voters to be informed as they go into the booth, or vote early, which you can also do during the general election. So take care, everybody. We hope to see you at Daze and Knights. I hope to pop through there. So we'll talk soon. Peace.